So for people to write about their life and what happened to them and acknowledge what happened to them is really a healing practice, I think. And then sharing their stories, then we find out we're not alone when we read other people's memoirs. And then there's so many forms they can take. That really fascinates me too. But I will tell you about Planet Earth Poetry because it's been really fun to go down there for many years. Well, probably for the last 20 years, because I moved to Nanaimo in 2005. And probably soon after, I discovered Planet Earth Poetry, which took place at a different spot then, at a cafe or a coffee shop. And then the more recent venue is Russell Books. And so that's where I was Friday night. And there were 3 other readers. It was actually chapbook night. So I was reading from my chapbook, Modern Words for Beauty, and there were 3 other younger poets. So it was so great to have lots of youthful energy there, besides the old poets that I know. And they are literally old. We're all in our 70s or beyond. And so it's always nice to reconnect with these people that I've known for years. Well, it's everything, really. And that's why I started writing circles back in 1997. I lived in Toronto, and I left my office job and thought I wanted to do something in the healing arts. And what could it be? Because could it be massage or shiatsu or reflexology or aromatherapy? And then I thought, writing, that's what I've always done. And so I invited women to come into my living room, and that's what I started doing. And then I moved to Guelph, Ontario, and did the circles there. And then I do them here in Nanaimo, and nowadays on Zoom as well as in person and in different locations. So that creates a community across the country and beyond now that we're on Zoom too. And we can share stories together, write together, and then share our writing. And it's never about the critiquing of it. It's really about acknowledging and celebrating our stories and seeing it as an act of self-compassion, really, to write about our lives. And then to go beyond the circles to meet other poets who are publishing their work and reading at these events like at Russell Books. And I've done readings in Port Alberni too. It used to be called Words on Fire, and now it's called Electric Mermaid. So since I'm such a fan of mermaids, that was really great to recently do a reading. Well, there's newcomers always, and then so you meet some new people, and then there's your old familiar friends cheering you on, which is so great. And I go to poetry retreats too. So that's something that I discovered when I moved to Vancouver Island, that Patrick Lane was leading poetry retreats. So he became my poetry mentor back in maybe 2006 was the first one I attended. He was doing them in Souk. And so that's how I met a lot of the poets that I still know. So we wrote together and then shared that new work. And Patrick would give his feedback. Nobody else. It wasn't the type of group where each person responds. It was Patrick. And in the early days, we didn't even give him a copy of the poem we just wrote. He heard it and he would comment and he'd say, the first stanza can go, and then it starts there. He was just excellent. And so for years we attended retreats with him, and he died in 2019. Before he died, actually, he was doing retreats in Honeymoon Bay. There's a lodge there on Lake Cowichan. And so like 20 of us or so would meet there, and we still go there for retreats with Lorna Crozier, his wife. So yes, imagine how amazing that is to be given prompts by Lorna and or invitations, as she calls them, and to then go off to our own room. And so the combo of solitude and being in community is just ideal, I find. Well, there's the reviewing done about our work, which can be tricky to to read, because, they're seeing something that we didn't see, and sometimes that's great. Oh, I didn't realize that. Yay for me. As we review other people's work, it's a chance to read it again and again. So you really get to know a book well, because it's not just that first reading. It's going back, seeing what the author was trying to do, and also you learn so much about what structure they used and how they told their story in a unique way. And so it's a fascinating study, actually. And when I heard that Virginia Woolf and Catherine Mansfield used to do this years ago, I thought, okay, this is really a lofty occupation here that we're doing this reviewing. And I always like to say what works about something, because I'm wanting to promote the book. Now, if it was really like horrible, I suppose I'd want to say that. But I don't aim to pick at what doesn't work. I aim to pick at what does work. Oh, for sure, we learn a lot when we're reviewing someone else's work. Yes, indeed. Because you wonder, when you enjoyed it, well, how did they do that? So you go back over and over it again, and you see how they did it.